Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on the live stream on this beautiful Tuesday night, April 11th, 2023. It's 9:32 p.m. here in the state of California. Latest earthquake looks like a 3.2 around the Turkey area. All right, looking at the last 24 hours of earthquake activity here on the map, noticing some movement out here along the west coast. Including some activity down into the Los Angeles area earlier. I did get this notification on my phone here, a couple smaller earthquakes around the Huntington Park area of the greater Los Angeles area, 1.9 and a 1.6. Also some activity a little bit further east around the San Bernardino region, a 2.1 coming in within the last hour. Looks like at about 8.7 kilometers below the surface, so lighten up out here in the southern part of the state a little bit. Also around the San Bernardino Mountains here, got a 2.6 near Desert Center at 3.2 kilometers. So definitely looks like things are getting a little bit elevated, slightly, nothing major going on. There's no major swarms. Not seeing any other major activity out here aside from a little small uptick in the microquake department. All right, around the creeping segment of the San Andreas Fault, we did have some activity near Pinnacles. Got about 7 earthquakes or so here within this region, including Gilroy up here to the north. Mostly smaller earthquakes, but a 3.3 in the mix there just earlier this evening. Bay Area fairly quiet, a couple smaller microquakes across Northern California, but aside from that, things are actually pretty quiet around the Cascadia. A look at the tremor map here tonight. Kind of curious to see what's going on here. Again, 416 epicenters of tremor confined to this area of the Cascadia Subduction Zone. It looks as though we're starting to uptick here a little bit in that department. This has been ongoing here for probably about 4 days now, 4 to 5 days, with consistent tremor mainly located within this area. So we'll watch and see how it develops and see if this continues into a large tremor event there in the Seattle area. Underneath Seattle, that is. All right, Yellowstone National Park, not a whole lot going on, but let's double check it. Want to make sure, right? Got to make sure we're checking the accuracy of our officials out there. Not a whole lot. A couple smaller earthquakes here across the last 24 hours. This kind of looks like some type of wind event. Lasted for about 4 to 5 hours or so since it has mellowed out. As you can see, the lines returning back to normal. The rest of the country looks fairly quiet. I've got one earthquake here in the Illinois area. Looks like around Robinson 2.4. That is in the north, well, the New Madrid seismic zone sits around here, but it's still within that seismically active area, which kind of extends further up into Illinois and over towards the Indiana area. So a little bit of shaking going on there today, nothing major. Puerto Rico area, looks like a handful of quakes here, about 35 of them or so. Mostly smaller microquakes. A look here at the globe shows a little bit of activity here over around the Middle America Trench with a 4.1 coming in here. Fairly new earthquake. South America region, some older movement here from early this morning. Nothing really new popping off here, just mostly 4s and 3s from earlier. Down into the New Zealand area, looks as though things kind of kicking up here. A couple 3s showing up here in the New Zealand area. Also 4.9 along the Kermadec Trench. That's going to be this earthquake right here near the Kermadec Islands, 10 kilometers deep. And let's go ahead and check out the GeoNet servers here real quick. Let me refresh the latest data here on the earthquake drums. Let's see. There's some of that activity showing up. The most recent one, I believe, was that... let me bring the list up here real quick. It's going to be that... No, I think we had one come in sooner than that. That's a 3.2 from 9 hours ago. There's a 3.2. There we go. Looks like just outside the Wellington area. Unnoticeable, but still, it definitely showed up on the earthquake drums there. 3.2 And looks like a 2.5 as well within that same area about 40 minutes ago. So slight uptick, right? Nothing major going on though, but let's go ahead and check out the volcano drums here across New Zealand, see if we got any major swarming going on at any volcano, and it doesn't look like it. Looks fairly calm. Not seeing any major elevated activity. Continue to watch that though. Vanuatu area, a couple earthquakes here from today, 4.6 and a 4.7, a relatively deep movement here south of Port Vila, the latest quake here in this area. Over around the Solomon Islands region and the Indonesia Islands, fairly active here, more so than what the USGS is stating on their map. Quite a few threes stretching across the southern end here of the Java Trench, it looks like. And getting a little bit further activity up north here off the coast of Japan into the northern segment here of the Philippine Plate. That's going to be up here. And USGS looks like they're reporting some of that from today. Some low to mid-grade 4s. One earthquake just around the Tokyo area. Looks like a 4.4 coming in 65 kilometers deep. Also a pretty deep earthquake here into one of these subduction zones, 267 kilometers deep. There's a couple different areas here. This may be way down into the Japan Trench. Either way, a little bit of deeper activity taking place here. We'll watch this region for some subsequent shallower earthquake activity. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench up north. Got two earthquakes here coming in from, looks like early this morning we did see another super deep earthquake here into the Sea of Osk area. 4.2 at 500 kilometers deep. We've been noticing more deeper activity than we have shallower movement. So the strain is building up here along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. Watch that pretty closely. Look at the EMSC model. It shows those two quakes as mentioned. And the Alaska area, what do we got here? 1.1 coming into the area. Very small microquake. There's an earthquake way up north here, north of the Brooks Range, into extreme northern Alaska, 2.5 at 8 kilometers deep. And most of the activity here today throughout the Cook Inlet area and also the Aleutian Trench, it looks like a little bit of activity kicking up across the Fox Islands region as well. Let's see what else we got. The Big Island of Hawaii. One earthquake outside of Mauna Kea. This one coming in about 3 o'clock this morning, a 3.4 at 26 kilometers deep. And most of the activity, lack of activity, I would say, what is showing up is around the Pahala area. That's mostly smaller microquake movement for now. Further west out into the Himalaya areas and Nepal, looks like most of the movement here today. I got some smaller earthquake or older activity here across eastern Afghanistan region and the northern India area. Did see a 4.0, looks like a 4.0 here earlier this afternoon, back prior to the subduction zone area, this plate boundary. Aside from that, nothing really showing up here on the USGS map. Mostly smaller microquakes, 2s and 3s and some 1s out here around Turkey, areas westward as well. 2.0 out here in the Atlantic Ocean. That's about it, though. There's not a whole lot going on in the Atlantic for now. So definitely a couple deeper earthquakes here, noticeably in some weird, I shouldn't say weird, but in some interesting locations up here along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. All right, let's see what else is there. Anything else popping out here, folks? Alrighty, let's go ahead and check out space weather here real quick, and we will move on. Still watching a couple nice sunspots, fairly large. We do have one in direct view right now. It's going to be the sunspot, also a newer one on the southeastern limb of the sun, looking fairly dynamic as well. Quite a few intermixing colors within that magnetic structure here of the sunspot, which is number 3276. 3272 is now more positioned here, a little bit further center disk and Earth facing. 3273, it's hard to say with this one. That's a little bit more facing us as well. Well, hold on a second here. Let's see what's going on. 3273 looks like it's completely... hold on a second here. Yeah, it kind of looks like it downgraded here a little bit. Doesn't look quite as active. Either way, a couple new sunspots look like they're trying to pop up here around the center disk of the sun. We'll definitely watch this in the coming days. But for now, main threat's going to be down here on the southern area of the sun. We'll watch that pretty closely for some possible flaring. 95% chance for a C flare, M flare at 45. And it looks like X flare has been elevated to a 10% probability. And I'm guessing it's because of 3272, which harbors a beta gamma magnetic structure. Has not had any noteworthy events, but that is elevated 10% chance there for an X flare. 3272, of course, is going to be the one that is currently facing us right here. It does still look fairly complex and a lot of intermixing here of different polarities. Let's check out the UV filter here and see what it kind of looks like. Oh yeah, got quite a bit of magnetic lines stretching and arching across each other here. So that could be definitely an indicator of maybe some strong flaring here throughout the night, maybe even tomorrow. So we'll watch this area pretty closely. It is lined up directly with Earth. So if any massive CME were to be produced, it would definitely be geo-effective. For now, the auroras are fairly minimal up at the higher latitudes. Not a whole lot of chances of seeing those. Looks like just very minimal conditions here over the next couple days as we wait for some further activity. All right, quick glance here at the West Coast weather here for California. A little bit cooler today. We do have a little storm system coming in here to the West Coast, mostly into Oregon and Washington, but it will be bringing down a little bit of cooler air. Notice the lines here indicating some pressure gradients, so we're going to kick up the wind a little bit as well tomorrow for the West Coast. Our next chance of rain, it looks as though it may be around, well, there's a very slim chance here around the 16th and 17th of April. I think our best chance comes right about, you can just barely see it here. We got a pretty strong low pressure system towards the 21st and 22nd of April. Looks like that's going to bring in a little bit more rain here to the West Coast. So winter is not done yet with us. So we'll definitely take all we can get. We need I don't know. I don't think, well, you could probably have too much rain, but after all the years of drought here along the West Coast, it's all appreciated. We will take it. Alrighty, I am going to jump off here, folks. I don't think we have nothing coming up here for the next couple days as far as severe weather goes. It looks like possibly on day 4 there is a elevated severe weather risk here, 15% chance for some noteworthy locations, including the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and the Arlington area included in this setup. We'll continue to watch this and see how it plays out, though. Things can change this far out. Day 4. So we'll that's going to be on the let's see here. Looks as though this says valid for Friday. So this is already counting as tomorrow. But yeah, we'll watch this towards the end of the week. See if this plays out into something more severe. Provide some updates once we get a look at that a little bit closer towards that time frame. Alrighty, National Data Buoy Center, anything magically in event mode? Doesn't look like it. All is well out there across the region. No buoys out there in the event mode. Alrighty, have a good night, folks. Got a busy day tomorrow. Got a bunch of stuff I got to do as far as school work and whatnot goes. Should have caught up today, but I was just kind of working out in the garden once again, kind of getting it all stirred up. I ended up purchasing a rototiller, and it's a little bit easier to stir up the ground with a rototiller compared to using, traditional hand tools. Much quicker, but also at the same time, you gotta make sure you do it right. We just have a small little garden we're working on, but it's much easier using that rototiller to get everything ready here. Going to be planting up quite a few things. I'm not for sure what Missy Mimi's has planned. Probably some pumpkins and whatnot. Either way, we'll keep folks updated on that. Alrighty. Have a good one, folks. Catch you guys back here sometime tomorrow morning. Keep an eye on these areas that are seeing deeper movement quakes. The Kuro Kamchatka and Indonesia is still very active across this area. I think this is leading to something big within the region. The question is where? We're looking at all the pressure. It looks like it may be wanting to go around the Java Trench area. Seems as though that's kind of the momentum and area that it's headed towards. But either way, we'll watch it and report back on it if something does happen. Have a good night, guys. We'll get you back here tomorrow sometime. Peace out.